morning, 8:19s. Today, ride to work in the rain. This kind of thing happens quite often. Tokyo rains quite a bit, actually. Today is kind of a moderate rain. I have a routine for riding in the rain. It involves basically making sure that I can stay as dry as possible. And today, because I was in a hurry, I forgot my gloves. So that's a big minus on my routine. So, one thing I do is I put my backpack or whatever I need to carry in a garbage bag. Even if it's under the seat of the bike, the seat under the seat is always dry. I've never had any water leak in there, but I sometimes wrap stuff in a bag. I think it's just so that I have a bag on me in case I need to use it later in the day, like if I go shopping or something. This one is a huge, like 45-liter garbage bag for regular garbage, and it works really well to hold my backpack and then other stuff if I need to. The other thing that I do, obviously, is to wear a rain suit. So I have my rain pants and my rain jacket on. I bought these from Workman, and they're great. One reason I chose Workman is because they have larger sizes. I usually wear, if it's Japanese brand, it's a 3L, 4L, or 5L. It'd be like what, XX, XXXL, XXXXL, XXXXL in the States. Not that big. I mean, I am big, definitely, don't get me wrong. But I think the Japanese, my US XL would be a Japanese 3, 4, or 5 XL, depending on the maker. So they make the clothes a little bit smaller here, typically. As you can see from the scooter in front of me, a bag wrapped around her, stuff in the basket with some zips on it, and he or she, sorry, has a raincoat on, and yeah, basically similar to me. I think these are kind of common sense things, if I'm being honest. It's been raining for a few hours now, so everything's thoroughly drenched. They have hand covers too. Took the hand covers off mine. I could throw them back on. They're pretty easy to throw back on. Probably should have today because I don't have my gloves. Man, I can't believe I forgot my gloves. Yeah, rainy days, not always fun. This is like I said, it's moderate rain, so it's not really terrible. On a day like a typhoon where the wind is whipping around and the wind is whipping around and the rain is falling really hard, those are days where the commute really kind of sucks. But today, not too bad. Good rain suit, nice gloves, and a full face helmet I think does a lot better. I think a lot of scooter riders tend to wear like skull caps or half caps or something that doesn't have a chin bar. I'm not a big fan of that. I wear a motocross style helmet. I usually keep a pair of goggles strapped to the back of it. Because I wear glasses, putting the goggles on and taking them off, putting them on, taking them off with my glasses is a little bit of a pain in the butt. For the first few years of riding, I did that, but it feels like the more often I stop and the smaller, shorter rides I do, the less I use the goggles. And then if I'm going off-road or going to the mountains, I'll usually wear them because this is when I need to take some crap that will hit my face. In the city, I don't really need the goggles as much, but on a rainy day like today, they help keep my glasses dry and keep the rest of my face dry. It's making me wonder if the mic sounds a little deeper today. And as far as the GoPro goes, now I'm using a Hero 7. Hero 7 requires a, not the media mod. Media mod is the thing that wraps around the camera. This needs the microphone adapter. I think that's what they call it. So connecting the microphone adapter to the camera means the camera is no longer waterproof because you have to take the door off. And then the microphone adapter itself is not waterproof either. I got stuck in the rain a few different times when I was out, and one of the things I carry with me sorry, tunnel. I know the internet drops off in the tunnel. One of the things I carry with me is Japanese called Yojo tape. Yojo tape is, I think it's kind of like a gaffer's tape basically. It sticks onto anything. It sticks onto most things. And then it can be peeled off without leaving any sticky residue behind. Japanese gum tape will leave residue behind. I try not to use that stuff if I don't have to. But maybe the Japanese gum tape will leave a more waterproof or tighter seal, so that might be better in some instances. But I use Yojo tape and I wrap the connector. The first time I ever did it, water still got in around the tape. So I usually do 2 or 3 layers. I kind of will put a layer in, and then I'll put another layer over the top of the seam, and then another layer over the top of that seam. And then water never reaches the inside. I wrap it around the camera body where the connector goes into the camera directly. I also do it around the connector part where the USB-C and the microphone jack plug into the microphone adapter. Yeah, it works pretty well. I think the other parts of the camera are basically waterproof, so I don't think that I'd have too much to worry about with that. Bike is my rainy day bike. I've mentioned that before. This bike has a bit of an engine problem. In fact, the problem popped up on me the other day. I was given it the old Italian tune-up on the back road and felt something a little strange. It suddenly like chugged and then it started losing power. I think, like I said, it's a carbon buildup problem. Well, last minute turn signals, huh? I think a piece of carbon had broken free and kind of clogged up the valve. And kept riding because I was still on the gas and it kept running, but as soon as I rolled the throttle off to slow down to come to a stop sign, the engine cut out. And yeah, I had a little bit of trouble getting it started. Tried the starter and it didn't really work at first. Gave it a few minutes to kind of calm down. Key off, roll the throttle on all the way and kick it a few times with the Kickstarter so that I can clear out the chamber. Then tried it again with the Kickstarter. The throttle position was closed completely at first, and then as I was kicking it, I would roll it open just a hair, just another hair, and then it fired back up again. And I ran to the gas station to get fresh gas so I could throw the carbon deposit cleaner stuff in it again too. And yeah, got a fresh tank of gas now. And it seems to be running better with the carbon deposit cleaner in it. Gonna have to be careful with those Italian tune-ups. Even this morning when I fired it up to come to work, it feels a little bit on the sluggish side. It feels like it's getting a little peppier now, but I think that just might be in my head. I really need to take the top end off and clean this thing up. How about anyone out there in the comments? I don't know if you're if anyone's watching, because I don't have a smartphone holder on this bike, so I'm not able to watch the chat. I apologize if there's someone there in chat. But in the comments, do you guys ride in the rain? Do you prefer not to? Do you have any special techniques for staying warm or staying dry? I'd love to hear what anyone has to say. People turning in front of me today. So one of the things I try to instill in my wife is never ride next to somebody, because if those people who wanted to turn were next to me, they may not have seen me because I would have been in their blind spot. I also try to keep an eye on the turn signal of the car next to me. And more important than the turn signal, because I think sometimes people turn without their turn signals, but more important than that is their lane position. If they start to creep over to the left, I know that they're probably going to want to turn left at some point, if not soon, then a little further up the road. So just try to make sure that I roll off the gas and that I make sure I roll off the gas and make sure that I can hit the brakes in time if they decide to turn at the last minute. The reason I went through the yellow light instead of trying to stop, two things. One, obviously emergency braking can be a little more dangerous when it's slippery, when it's rainy. But the second reason is because the car behind me also went. And I think that's one thing that I learned. Kind of try to read the traffic, and if the car behind you is going to go, you're putting yourself in a little bit of risk. If you get over to the left side of the road, you might be able to, the car might be able to sneak around you and run through the red light. I've had that happen countless times, but in cases where it's rainy and slippery like this, I would rather just go through the yellow light and risk the potential of a ticket. I don't think that what I was doing was super illegal. It wasn't a clear red light, but also wasn't, maybe in the eyes of the law, it wasn't the right decision. I should have probably stopped. The first time it ever happened, I was in Sama. Sama is in Kanagawa. It's where one of the U.S. military bases is in Japan. I was in Sama, the light turned, so I slammed on the brake. And then I heard a screech behind me, and I scooched over to the left so that if somebody was coming, I didn't realize that somebody would think of coming because the light was clearly red for me, so it was red for them. I scooched over to the left as far as I could, and when I took a look in the rear view mirror and the side mirror, it was a dump truck, and if I didn't move over, he would have hit me for sure. His bumper finally stopped around maybe where my rear passenger seat was, and I realized at that point, probably because he has so much weight, so he has so much force behind him that he can't make a quick stop the same way that a bike or a car can. And then he if I'm being honest in that situation, then he was probably going too fast for the road conditions. But you know, I think the blame is not important. Preventing the accident is more important. If I had stayed in the center of the lane and he had hit me, I don't know. I'd rather avoid the accident than play the blame game. But anyways, yeah, I realized that people typically don't want to stop for the yellow that just turned red. And then I paid closer and closer attention. It may vary in your part of Japan or in your city, but yeah, I think it's something to pay attention to. I don't know what the MSS course or other safety training classes would say about your lane position when you stop. But from my personal experience in Japan, to the left, to the side of the road is the best, and the shoulder is the best. Because it gives the driver next to you a whole lane of space if they need to get around you. So, yeah. Yeah, my hands are a little colder than I want them to be. They're definitely wet. I used to keep a pair of gloves under the seat as well as a pair of gloves that I would be wearing, so I always had an extra or a spare with me. Today, don't really have an excuse. Yesterday I did laundry and my gloves were in my bike pants pocket. And yeah, I took them out of the pocket, forgot to put them someplace where I would see them. So I guess basically out of sight, out of mind. So I'm gonna continue doing this live stream 365 days if I can. Hopefully the internet bandwidth and the connection was strong enough today. I'll have to see when I get into work. And I would love it if people would ask me some questions, so throw any questions or anything you want to know down in the comments. Questions could be about anything, about Japan, about motorcycles, about me, about life, about food, whatever you want to ask. It'll be great to have a topic to talk about for tomorrow's ride. So yeah, leave something down in the comments if you can. Thank you guys so much for riding. I'll see you in the next one. Ride safe. Let's see how many people are in the parking lot today. Usually rainy days, there's not so many people. Yeah, it's about a quarter of what it usually is.